Okay, so one more time, welcome to everybody. I'm so glad you guys made it. We don't have quite as many people as I was hoping, but we're doing pretty good here. And I guess everybody else decided to take the video archive option. So this is a really cool tool. This is Zoom, which we can use for our online office hours. You want to try and get in the habit of using that. It's akin to making it very similar to the face-to-face experience you have in a typical math class, where you get to ask questions in class. There are many, many ways we can talk to each other in using the Canvas system, but I find that it's just difficult sometimes to ask a clarifying math question by typing it in, where if you just ask me it, you can say, no, that's not what I'm saying, and then keep going and we'll get it figured out. So good idea that if you can is to work these into. What I've seen so far in the poll that we've been doing is looking like it's going to be Thursday nights from 8 to 9 p.m., but I'll let you know more about that before the week is out, if we're definitely going to start doing Thursdays. But that's looking pretty good. And then I will do additional hours if there's a request. We can do that too. So a couple quick things about taking an online course. For many of you, this may be the first time you've taken an online course, or if you've taken online courses in the past, this may be the first time you've taken an online math course. So you got to bring a little different set of skills to this than you would to a normal mathematics class. And that skill set that I'm referring to is presented in Module 0 with those 6 videos. So I really would ask you to take the time to watch those 6 videos that show up in Module 0 under online preparedness and make sure that they make sense to you. But the number one, the one I really want to emphasize, is the whole thing on time management. It's not like a typical math class where hey, I'm going to class tomorrow, better get my homework done. The homework's due on Sunday, so you have to be disciplined enough to make sure that you get that work done in a spread out fashion. If you try and sit down Sunday morning and do 5 sections of mathematics, it's not going to work out real well for you. It's going to be really brutal on top of that. So spread the work out. I recommend 5 days a week, but I would say the minimum is going to be 3 days a week. That you sit down for at least an hour or two and work through the assignments. So I would get your calendar out, put it in your calendar. I am doing math on Tuesdays between 7 and 8 at night or something like that, and stick to it. Make an alarm go off, something to remind you. Hopefully you are familiar with Canvas, but if you have not experienced with that, there's a tab in Module 0, Section 0.0 that's going to guide through everything you need to know about Canvas settings. So if you're not familiar with that or you'd like a review, be sure and watch those video links and make sure that if you have any questions on how to get Canvas to work for you, that you do that, okay? That you let me know. I've been getting some questions about the textbook. A lot of you have already got it, which is styling. So the text is an open source textbook. It's going to cost you less than $15 delivered. You can get to the link to Lulu, the online publishing house. That's provided in Section 0.2 of Module 0. You need it because you're going to do your homework right in the pages of the textbook. It's a workbook, so you're going to do all of the work right in it. And we're going to go over that. I'm going to do a little demo in just a few minutes when we get further down the basics of what we need to cover here. So you're going to need to have a calculator. You can buy a physical TI-83 or 84, or you can rent one of those from the school. All of those are options. Or you can get an emulator. I'll demonstrate the emulator for an iPhone in a bit because that's what I have, but they also have a nice emulator for Androids also. The iPhone one is about $6. The Android one is free. You need to get it ASAP if you're going to go with that route. Get it downloaded into your phone right away, or get yourself a physical calculator right away, okay? An 83 or 84 will be fine. Doesn't matter. The cheapest 83 you can find will work perfect if you're going to buy one. Speaking of where to get the rental ones are rented out of the Math Lab and the ASC on the Eureka campus. So if you're local and you can get into the Eureka campus, you can go rent one there for $20 for the summer. But there's also the most important thing that happens in the Math Lab is free tutoring. It's going to be Monday through Thursdays on a summer schedule. Fridays are not available. I believe it's from 9 to 5, and it's in the back of the library in the ASC, the Academic Support Center. There are 2 options. You can do a credit lab, Math 120L, or you can do a non-credit Math 252, which is free, but you got to enroll in one of those if you're going to use the service, because that's how we get paid to tutor you. I'll also show you the link in a bit when we go over to Canvas that we have free 24/7 tutoring using NetTutor also. So one thing I had taught this class for the first time in the spring, and there was some confusion about the proctored final. And so I want to upfront about that. So the final exam is proctored, which means you have to take it in a testing center. It's a requirement that the accrediting bodies want to make sure that we're offering classes online that are being attended by the people who are actually enrolled in them, and not some guy that you paid $100 to take the class for you. So to take the exam, you can either go to the Eureka or Crescent City campuses, and we have testing centers in both the libraries in the ASC and the Eureka campus and the library in the Crescent City campus, or you can use a private proctor. If you're going to use an external proctor, other than what CR's provided, then you need to have the proctor request form into me no later than July 5th, and I'll be sending out reminders about that. Details about proctoring show up in section 0.2 if you want to get after that, if you're outside of the Eureka area and you need to get an external proctor. So first, video quiz. So this is for all the folks who didn't join us tonight. You don't have to take this if you showed up, because you're going to get your points with just being here. So write responses to this question in a message to Canvas and send it to me directly. Question 1, true or false, you can take the final at home. Obviously, you should, by the previous slide, know the answer to that one, but we'll find out what I get from my responses, okay? All right, so late work and participation. So unlike a physical class, you participate by showing up, and most faculty, myself included, take attendance on a pretty regular basis and know that you are coming to class. So how do we do that in the online world? Well, that's going to be showing me that you are participating by doing the work, okay? So I accept a little bit of late work from you. I'll give you up to a week to get it into me. If you get it past a week, then I'm probably not going to take it from you. So there's a point penalty of half of the credit assessed. If it's a day or two late, I may only take a couple points from you, like 1 or 2 points. But if you're getting up to a week out and you're turning it in, you're going to lose half the points. So again, time management. Don't fall behind. Set a schedule to make sure that you get this done. We're doing 16 weeks of work in 10 weeks. So it's fast and furious, and you need to make sure you schedule the time to do that. So I really do ask you to log in pretty much 3 days out of the week. I can check that with the Canvas system. And if you haven't been doing it on a regular basis, I'm going to contact you and say, hey, what's up? What can I do to help you? Let me know what's going on. I'll do whatever I can to help you get caught up. Please respond to those contacts. If I don't hear from you, I'm assuming that for whatever reason you've decided not to continue, and I will initiate a faculty withdrawal. I'll give you plenty of warning before I do that. But if you are hearing from me saying, hey, I have not seen you participate, what's going on, please let me know what's going on. Best way is to let me know up front. Hey, Mike, I've got my vacation in Cabo planned for this week. I'm not going to have Wi-Fi. Can you get the module up early so I can get as much of it done before I go? And I can give you an extension and we can do that, okay? So don't make me figure it out by having to do it that way. Preload that and we're good to go, okay? All right, so we're gonna break out of this slideshow. We're gonna go and actually get into Canvas and go look at it here. So this is a list for me to remind me of stuff that I want to show you in Canvas. Let me get that out of the way. And let's go over to the browser where Canvas resides. Before you don't leave today until you make sure that your name shows up on the You Was Here list on the attendance sheet, okay? So we'll do that at the very end when I unmute everybody. So typically when you come in to Canvas and you come into our class, you'll go in through the home screen. And you'll see there's a recent announcement. If you haven't read that yet, you might want to take a look at that and see what's going on for that week. The announcements tell you the game plan for what's going to happen. I always have a button down here that takes you to that week's module so you don't have to go digging for it. So right now it's to start here because it's week 1, so it'll drop you right into week 0. But that said, if you want to get directly to any part of the course, just click on the modules link. By the way, I am in the faculty view, so yours is going to look a little bit different than mine, okay, since I'm in the instructor's view. So when you click on the modules link, you'll see the list of all of the modules. You can collapse them if you want to get them out of the way. So like when you finish module 0, you can click on the little diamond. It'll go away and it's out of your view to make your life a little bit easier. Of course, that's a personal preference. Everybody gets to decide how they want to do that. But every module is pretty much set up the same way. The first thing you're going to do when you drop into a module, a learning module, not the orientation one, is there'll be an introduction. And what the introduction is all about is that first off, it's what are we doing in this module? What's up for you? So there's I try to keep it to a paragraph, quick thing about what's going on. Good idea to read that. So it's kind of like walking into class, what are we doing today? So it's like, what are we doing this week? The objectives, if you want to read those, I'm stoked, but those are mostly for the accrediting body to know that I have objectives, okay? That I'm not just doing this. Some of the introduction modules will have additional material, like in this one, the very first module, there's a how to learn algebra. If you have not watched this video before from Joe Boiler, I highly recommend it. It talks to you about that there is no such thing as a math brain. If you've watched my little intro video that I did, you know that I came to math kind of in a circuitous method, and it's not something that you're born with. It's something we all learn. The to-do list, that's a good idea to stop there. Make sure you know that these are the things that you got to get done. You got to get turned in that week. Okay, so once you've gone through the introduction, you click on next, and it's going to drop you into a warm-up. The idea behind the warm-ups is that you get a chance to see some of the material before you actually start working the assignment. Like, you know, this is the basic idea. They're low point, low risk. You take them as much as you want. You can kind of think about them as part of your lesson, how you learn things. The thing I want to draw your attention to is these video links here. Be sure and watch the videos. They're great. They really help you out understanding how to work the problems. They're cued right to the problem that you're going to be working on, and they give you instruction on how to do them. So take a moment and watch the videos. I always pick, for the most part, occasionally there will not be a video, but for the most part, there's always a video explaining how to work the problem. Like I said, the warm-ups are low points. If you decide, hey, I've had enough of this, I want to move on, you can just go down to next and move on, and now you drop right into the assignment. So the assignments, most weeks, we're going to have 5 sections. Some weeks when the material gets harder, I'll be backing off on that, and we'll only have maybe 3 or 4 sections we got to get through. But we have to get through the entire syllabus in 10 weeks. So we got to rock and roll. So don't be taking like 3 other online summer school classes and think you're going to have fun doing that. This should be your focus this summer, okay? Just do 1 or 2 at the most summer school courses, and you'll be a lot happier. So every one of the sections are set up the same way. Section 1.1 here, I'm not going to read it to you. I'll let you read through it. I drag you through kicking and screaming exactly what it is how we set up your stuff, how you actually do it. But a couple of key things when you look at the assignment. First thing you're going to see is what's to be turned in. Then there are the resources, and in particular, there are the media resources. The textbook, let's go out and take a look at this section 1.2. Open that up in the reader here for you. The homeworks, or the sections, have what are called media examples. And our textbook authors, God bless their souls, they did some really nice videos. Donna Geldat, who's one of the authors of the book, did wonderful videos explaining the mathematics. She did a great job on these. So when you hit a problem like problem 4, where it says media example, you know that you're supposed to come back over here, and you're supposed to click on media example in the assignment.
In this problem, I'm given 3 different representations.
And there's Donna, okay? Donna will do all. She will explain to you. Then once you've watched the media examples, the next ones that you're supposed to do are what we call U-tries. Actually, I took it back. This has got a worked example. Worked examples are just that. They're examples like in a traditional textbook. You can read through them. They're there to help you figure out the problems. And then there's a U-try, and what that means, it's your turn. You get to get in here and actually work the problem. So in this particular case, they're saying, does the my pencil out here, which of the following represent functional relationships? Let's see, we can take a look. There's a 4, a 7, a -3, a 5. I'm not seeing a repeat in the X column, but all the Y's are 1s, but that's okay. So yes, this is a function. And notice I'm writing right in the book. That's how you're going to do your homework. You're going to scribble right in the textbook. So you can do that in pencil or erasable pen, whatever works out for you, okay? So is that making sense? Let me stop for a minute and take any questions. I'm going to be rambling on here for a bit. So have you guys got any questions so far? Are we good? I can see you, so give me a thumbs up if you're ready to keep going. Good to go? All right, we'll keep going then. Okay, so the next part of your assignment, after you've gone through the examples, is going to be the actual homeworks. And those come from what are called the practice problems. And so you can either, of course, go to the textbook directly and to that page, or you can go look at it at the end of the book, okay? And so at the end of the book is where all of these problems reside. And again, you work these problems directly in the textbook. So far, so good? Okay, cool. I'm assuming you're all following me. All right, so the only place that you find answers, the only place that you're going to find solutions or answers to any of the problems is with the URTRI problems. All the rest of the problems, the practice problems in the back and the self-assessment problems, those ones you have to come to me for solutions, okay? They give you solutions to the media examples. They give you solutions to the URTRI problems. Obviously, the solutions to the media examples are on video. And then the practice problems, they do not give any solutions. So if you are having problems with one of those, you want to post that. Let's go back home here for a minute. You want to post that to the Q&A forum. So you go to home, and you see where it says questions here. You click on that, and here's where you can type in math. You just click on reply and say, help me, okay? And put in whatever problem number you're having. There is a really nice equation editor right here. If you click on that, you'll get a way of putting in mathematics. You can actually put in like, you know, -3 plus or minus or minus plus or whatever, etc. So I'll let you play with that. You can actually go in and actually type math, okay? So if you need to put that in there, you can insert those into the homework. Alrighty, so let's go back to the assignment that we were just looking at. We're just about done covering the assignment, I think, and then we can move on. So the last piece is how do you go in and put your work into Canvas? So how do you submit the work? So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. So if you have, you have the physical book. In other words, you got the paper and pencil, you've done it on here. And you happen to have an all-in-one printer, scanner, one of those Epson or Hewlett-Packard beasts that you can just lay the page down on and you can scan it all in. That's awesome. You want to scan it in as a PDF and you want to scan it all into one file. And then you can go in and those, I don't have it because I'm in the instructor view, but there's a submit button up here. You can click on submit and you can upload the file directly into Canvas that way, okay? So that's one way of doing it. Another way is if you take a look down here, I have a couple of videos demonstrating this for you. You can use your Android or iOS device to actually scan in the pictures and you can upload it using the apps. So if you want to do it that way, I strongly recommend you watch these videos. They'll show you how to do it. If you're confused in any way about that, please let me know and I will help you out with it, okay? But the file format, the only file format that's allowed for submitting your homework is a PDF. So you need to scan it in using a PDF into a single document, or you need to use a phone scanner. The phone scanner that I use in the videos is called Tiny Scanner, but that's not the only other one out there. Cam Scanner is another very popular one on Android, and Scanner Pro is another one very popular on iOS. But the support that I can give you is for Tiny Scanner, because that's the one that I've been using. So let me know if you have any issues with that, but that's how you get your homework turned in. So you're going to scan it and you're going to submit it as a PDF file. So it even tells you down here, PDF is the file format that it's accepting. If you have questions on any of the problems and you want to submit them and get answers from me, there will be a little box off to the side where you can put in comments with your submission, and you can say, Mike, I couldn't do number 6. Can you give me the answer to that? And I'd be happy to post you a solution to that. And typically, I'll be very kind about the points if you're asking me for help with it. I'm real good about not taking points away from you if you're asking for help on it, okay? Alrighty then. So any questions on that? I'm going to go ahead and take a moment here and stop sharing, come back into Zoom, and I'm going to unmute you all at this moment here. So if you have a question, you can ask at this moment about submitting homework. So has anybody got a question on it, or do I need to mute you all again?
I do.
Sure.
Do you want one question or one PDF for each one of those sections, or for the entire, like 1.1, 1.2?
That's actually, I'll take, that's a personal choice. I'll take it either way. So if you want to do one PDF per section with the U-tries and the homeworks, that's great. If you want to do it all in one big scan, it's only got to upload once, that's awesome too. You can do it either way.
Okay.
Anybody else? Going once, going twice. I'm going to mute you all.
This is from earlier, about the calculators.
Yes.
For the final, because I know you let us use our phones for the final, would we be able to use our iPhone calculator for the final?
Yes. Big double thumbs up. Yes. You are welcome to use the iPhone calculator. What happens is just like in my face-to-face classes, is the proctor will check to make sure you have it in airplane mode before you start. And they will check airplane mode again when you finish. And they will be watching you from behind to see if you are like all of a sudden got on, Snapchat or FaceTime or something and saying, help me, how do I do this problem? And they will inform me of that. And at that point, I'll have to meet with you and find out what happened, okay? So it's really straightforward. Just put in airplane mode. Just make sure the only thing they're seeing is the calculator on your phone while you're doing it, and it will not be a problem.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else?
I actually got a question about the first question in the video.
Sure.
The question, are we supposed to message you that right now on Canvas, or do we just wait until after the meeting?
Somebody's help me out. You mean like content or how to use it? Which?
It was the first question. It was like if we could take our final exam at home.
Can you take your final exam at home?
Do you want us to?
Oh no, you don't. No, you're here. You're covered, dude. You do not need to do that.
Oh, so I don't need to answer at all.
No.
Oh, okay.
You are present and accounted for, so you do not. Well, in a minute when I think I got you on the roll already, so you're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
You got your points, so you guys don't have to do anything else.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, anybody else? Nope. All right, I'm muting you all. That's a good reason to mute everybody. We had some strange alien going on in the background there. All right, so let's see. What next? What do I need to tell you? Oh, yes. Okay, so back to the module. So we're going to go back to sharing the screen. So back to sharing the screen, and I need to talk to you a bit more about what happens in the module, because that was the assignment part, but there are more pieces to the module besides that. So let's go back to module 1 again. And so usually somewhere within the module, you will find a cooperative learning experience, which means you're going to work with your peers. And these almost always are going to be, with a couple of exceptions, are going to include an activity in a cloud-based program called Desmos. And what Desmos is that it's very cool. It allows you, a few people have actually started to work on it. It allows you to go and do some interactive stuff and learn. That's the game plan. So the first one, it talks to you about what it is you're going to be doing, and then how to actually get in and actually work it, and how to actually log into Desmos. In other words, how to set up a Desmos account, because you're going to want to do that. You're going to want to set up an account in Desmos so that you can save your work. It's cloud-based, but you want to be sure and save your stuff. And that's important, because what happens is when I go to grade it, all the work that you've done in Desmos, I get to go back and see it. I get to see everything you typed in and entered. It saves it all. And so when I go to do the actual marking, I see that you actually did the Desmos activity. So then based on the Desmos activity, there will be some sort of a question you need to answer, or a series of questions. So like in the first one, there's a graph that you have to answer 3 questions about. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to post a reply, come down here where the reply button is, and post a reply to those 3 questions. Then once you've done that, you're going to have access to your group's responses. So this is my view. You're not going to see all this, but there are 11 groups set up for the first Desmos activity. And when I go in there, when you go into your group, here's this group's already started, you get basically a mini version of Canvas is the way you want to think about a group. In that group, only the people that are in your group can see your responses, and they're the only people you can interact with. It's not the whole class. There's a lot of good reasons to do this. If you notice, like in the introductions, there's 40 introductions in there. And the first 10 or so people are responding to fairly regular because they're the first ones in the stack. And it's hard. If you're the 40th person to post, not a lot of people are going to read your post, right? So if I break you into smaller groups, it's more manageable. You have people that you're going to be working with that you're actually going to kind of get to know. You're going to be working in the same groups for a fair number of your Desmos activities. I'll shuffle them about the 3rd or 4th one, but for about the first 3, you're going to be working with the same people. And so when you post your response to the question, then you need to reply or comment on your peers' questions. And it is okay, it is totally okay to post in your initial reply, I don't get it. Can anybody help me? And if somebody does help you and you post the proper thing in there, you're going to get full credit. So it's just like when you're working with a face-to-face group, and if you don't understand something and somebody helps you out, you're going to write it down on your paper, and you're going to hopefully understand after they've worked with you. So same thing here. You post something and you're not completely sure about it. You can say, hey, did I get this right? Can somebody help me? And you can actually ask me to come in and look at it too. It's just like you would in a face-to-face class where you'd raise your hand and say, hey, we're not getting it. Can you come over here and help us? And I can come into the group and I can give you help there too, okay? So don't be shy about doing that. That's it doesn't seem like I'm present, but I am, trust me. I read your stuff, I'm looking at stuff all the time. So while you may not feel me physically in the room with you, I'm there. You just got to send me a message and let me know what's going on, and I will definitely come out and help you. So make sure you do the Desmos dance here to get yourself set up, to get your account going. Once you get in, you log in, there's a code to take you to the proper activity. It's pretty easy. I've had very good success with this. Very few people have had trouble getting into Desmos. So if you have any issues with that, again, let me know and we will do it. Okay. All right, once you finish the Desmos activity, once you have done that, then the next step is going to be to go and take the practice quiz. And so the practice quiz is basically, it's like the module quiz, but it's formative is what we refer to it as. And what formative means is you get to take it as many times as you want. By the way, I've been clicking on this thing over here on the side. This is the menu bar. It closed down that navigation menu, so it gives you a little more real estate when you're working the quizzes. So the practice quizzes are really important. They cover all 5 sections that you've just done in the assignment. They have videos that go with every one of them. For the most part, occasionally there'll be a conceptual one that won't have videos that goes with it. But all the ones where you actually have to work problems, those are going to have videos that go with them. So once you finish that, and you have to get 80% on it in order to move on or to submit it. Once you finished it and you got your 80%, you click on next. It's going to go, are you ready? Make sure you're ready, because now comes the one and done quiz. So the next step is like a normal, here it is, sit down, you're working by yourself, there's no help, and you only get to take it once. So you click on that one. And there's the module quiz. So those range anywhere from 4 to 8 questions, and they typically have a higher point value than the practice quizzes. But here's the deal. Guess where I get these quiz questions from? Can you guess? Where do you think I get them from? I take them straight from the practice quiz. You with me? Their only difference is, well, the numbers will be different. It shuffles, it regenerates the questions. So instead of being f of -9 in the practice quiz, it'll like be f of 3 or something. But the problems are going to be basically the same. One other thing, notice this is a little bit off screen even after closing down the menu. If you hit Control or Command minus, it'll shrink your browser or increase your browser size. So you can actually shrink it down so you can make it fit in the window, okay? All right, so cool. That pretty much wraps up every module. Once you've taken the module quiz, you're pretty much done, except for just a check-in. So at this point, come in, tell me, this is one of the places I look at all the time is the muddiest points. And that is you can come in and say, you know, everything about this except for section 1.5, problem 7, rocked. I could do all of it, but this one is killing me. And then I will come in here in the muddiest points or in the Q&A. I might move it over there, and I'll work out additional resources for you to help you get through it, okay? So make sure you hit that, and you get 1 point minimum for responding to the muddiest points. And that's cool because it's extra credit points at that. I don't, you know, if you don't respond to it, I won't ding you, but you're going to get 1 point positive for doing that. Okay, one last thing that I want to go back because I forgot to mention something to you, speaking about additional resources, is at the end of every assignment, there's a tab which says resources. And if you click on that, I have links to additional stuff to help you, okay? Many times I go and I dig through Khan Academy and I find the link to the part of Khan Academy that would help you. There's also links to additional textbook, you know, physical paper resources, and then reminding you about NetTutor, okay? So while we're talking about NetTutor, just to show you, NetTutor, where the heck is NetTutor? It's obviously not turned on yet. I will turn on NetTutor. It's not turned on. I'm glad I looked at that. So NetTutor will be turned on, and there will be a link over here like all the rest of these links, and you click on that, and it'll get you into NetTutor, okay? So, all right. Last part of a module, and this doesn't occur in every module, but in the summer school case, it occurs quite a bit, and that's a self-assessment. So you have 2 major point gathering opportunities during this course. There's a midterm and a final. And the midterm and the final are made up of the self-assessment questions. So when you get to the end of a lesson, when you get to the end of lesson 1 in the textbook, there is a self-assessment. You want to sit down on your own and take that and see how you're doing in it. Once you've taken it, or if you're stuck on one, I give you video solutions to all the problems. So you can come back here and you can check and see whether you got them right or not, or if you got stuck on one and you couldn't do it, you can come back and take a look at the video solutions. But when I built the midterm and I built the final, they came from these questions. So you're preloading your study for the midterm and the final by doing the self-assessments, okay? All righty then. So I got to do one more. We weren't here and we need to answer a question because we're watching this on video. So video quiz, write your responses to a message in Canvas and send them directly. Question 2, what is Desmos and how are we using it? So see what the answer would be there. It is a cloud-based math geek thing, and the way we're using it is so we can have cooperative learning experiences. Okay, so that's the end of my formal presentation. Let me stop sharing.